Welcome back, y'all. We've got another interview. It's a big week. It's a big day. 4 or 5 industry manufacturer interviews released on the same day, the Late Night Vision Show. If you're coming into this channel, it's hopefully because you are seeing all the new stuff. You want to know what's coming out. You want to be on the cutting edge and be the one that tells all your buddies, hey, did you see this that's coming out? Today is January 7th. If you're watching it the day that it's released, January 17th, Tuesday, the first day of SHOT Show. All the shows are going to be released today, but tune back in on Thursday the 19th. Jason and I have our live from the SHOT Show episode, our live from the SHOT Show, where we'll be doing a lot of recap of what we've seen just in the prior 2 days. Definitely don't want to miss that. But if you're watching this show, it's for a specific reason. Maybe you're interested in this manufacturer. But Jason Robertson, owner of Outdoor Legacy, tell them who we got on the show right now.
We have got a longtime fan favorite. We have got an interview today with Pulsar. It's specifically with Mr. Jeff Murray. He is the Executive Vice President of Sales at Sellmark, which is essentially Pulsar USA to us here in the States. And Jeff is a good friend and a longtime friend of our show. And we cannot wait to talk to him to see what Pulsar has got going on for 2023. I think if there's one manufacturer that we know is always innovating, always keeping all the competition on their toes, it's Pulsar. They've been around for a long time. They're kind of the old, like a Ford and a Chevy in this industry. They're the old standbys, and everybody wants to know what they're going to do. This year is no different. So let's go to the interview with Jeff. Welcome back. Here we are with Mr. Jeff Murray, the Executive VP of Sales at Sellmark Pulsar USA site mark. I tell you what, Jeff, thanks for being back on the show. You're no stranger to the show. I've got to say that I haven't looked back at all of our past shows and counted, but you probably register as the most reoccurring guest on the Late Night Vision Show.
Yeah, I think this is number 3, maybe number 4. I know last year was, I think, the first year we haven't done it in a while. So yeah, I'm very excited to come back on the show again and talk some thermal stuff with you guys.
Well, you definitely do not get any special award for that, for being on the show the most. I'll just say that. But I know I know that y'all watched, and I know all of our past episodes here recently, we did the best of, and Pulsar brought home a lot of hardware this year for best of scopes, and congratulations on that. And thank you again for being on the show. This episode, obviously, we are not in Vegas right now, but it is being released on the first day of SHOT Show 2023. A lot of eyeballs on the industry this week for night vision, thermal hunting. People want to find out what's going to happen, what's coming out new. And trust me, if you're watching this show right now, we're going to get to all the stuff that you really care about, but we want to talk a little bit about some stuff before we get into the breaking news. But talking about Jeff, coming off of a big year, every year there's a lot of big news from Pulsar. There's a lot of innovation that goes on, a lot of new scopes that come out. A lot of people always talk about, man, I got to memorize a new model number, or what does XQ mean, what does 35 mean, and now the titles of the names of the scopes just get longer and longer. But with all that being said, let's recap a little bit of the highlights of 2022, and really starting with the recent price drop of the XQ models, the XQ Pros, like the XQ 35 Pro, the XQ 50 Pro, and the XQ LRF Pro, which went down, $300 basically each model, settling down into a kind of a different price bracket for a lot of people. So share us, give us a little insight on that, and also, some of the things that I guess you're most proud of, being the leader of the company and going into this year.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that drops on those systems. We took a lot of feedback from dealers over the last 6-8 months when we released the Pro version of all the Thermi online, and really just came down to a conclusion that the key price points in that area for the level of quality we were getting, we were missing just slightly. So we decided that we wanted the XQ35 Pro to come in at that $3,000 retail, $2,999, and then have a jump every $500 from there. So XQ50 for that 50 millimeter lens and a little bit higher base mag, you go up $500, and then you have another $500 on top of that for the LRF system. So we wanted to kind of have staged out where it had, easy price jumps for you guys to walk through. So you guys now have the Talion, the Talion XQ at 2,500. You've got the Thermion XQ at 3,000, XQ50 at $500 more, so 3,500, and then the XQ LRF at 4,000. So it was just kind of a natural progression that we wanted to create a little bit of space between those. We thought we might have had just a little bit too much space between the Talion XQ35 and the Thermion 2 Pro XQ35. So we wanted to basically, get that more in line with the quality and, the performance that you're going to get in all those. So we kind of, if we move one, we kind of had to move all of them. There wasn't it was difficult to move. You couldn't just pick, the XQ50 and just move that one. You had to kind of make a decision on the whole series, how to move that and where it would flow nicely for not only Sellmark, but also for Sellmark Pulsar, but also for retailers to be able to talk through the customer what they can expect with each level that they're getting.
So that under $3,000 price range is stacked with a lot of quality. With the Talion and the XQ35, man, that's a tough decision. And then you've got the XQ50 laser rangefinder model, the Pro version, being under 4,000, which is a great deal. But I also want to talk about something that Jason and I mentioned on the show, and then I promise you we're going to get into the breaking news, y'all. But how Pulsar, how they are now performing, and really, I guess the credit has to go to the guys over, Ludus and all the guys over in, the factory. But the Pro sensors, how they are performing at night in bad weather. How they I think the perception in the past was, well, sometimes Pulsar doesn't perform great in humid weather and in bad conditions. They're whipping tail now. And Jason and I on our testing, if it's the Pro sensor, if it's something else, but ever since those Pros have been released this past year, the picture image at night has been fantastic. At night, in bad weather, in fog and humidity. Am I on the right trail there with that sensor? I mean, is that what we're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're in Sellmark, we're in Texas, and, right now it's middle of, first part of January. It's going to be 75 degrees out there today, sunny. At night, it's going to get, in the low 40s, dry. And for thermal, that's, in my opinion, that's like a perfect scenario. It's hot. Sun comes out, heats up all the, the passive heat objects out there. Then you have obviously your heat objects like pigs, coyotes, whatnot. They're always going to be hot, but you have a big temperature change between day and night. It looks really good, but where there's certain areas in the United States, the Southeast, sometimes up in the Northeast, Midwest, sometimes you can get those days where there's not a whole lot of temperature change, foggy, overcast, more rain, all of that kind of stuff. And with Pulsar being, a Lithuanian company, and part of the products being, part of the distribution channel being in Europe, they wanted to make sure that it's a lot more overcast, a lot more rain, a lot more very different conditions there than the United States for the most part. And they were focusing on making units perform really good in those bad conditions. And then when they come over to the United States, they perform, even better because their winters, I classify them almost like the Pacific Northwest in the United States. That's like a common winter for over there. Much more overcast, much more fog, misty, rainy conditions where, that does happen in the United States quite a bit, but not nearly as prevalent as what that is in different countries in Europe.
Well, I tell you what, Hans is right. I mean, we said that, we literally have talked about this out loud after testing these XQs and testing them against all of the competitors on the market, and really going, oh my goodness, these optics are outperforming their competitors at night in these terrible conditions. And it's not just that they're doing it, but it's they came a little bit from behind and going, oh my goodness, they've leapfrogged. And you talk about those conditions, and being over here in deep East Texas, where I'm at, right here next to Louisiana, down south. I mean, we live in a rainforest. I mean, we literally we get 50-something inches of rain a year, high humidity.
Yeah.
And I've been taking these optics out, and what you're talking about, the temperature didn't change 15 degrees from midnight to noon, and taking them out in these nasty conditions, even in the rain. And I've just been like, oh my goodness, this is what they looked like on a good night before. I mean, it's just, so anyway, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I think that and I'm going to assume, I don't want to say this because y'all know I'm not the engineer here, but I think probably it's that lower millikelvin rating, that ETD, that sub 25 that those units are getting into. It's making a big difference. And again, sometimes these numbers, I know to all of us, we're just a bunch of country boys hunting, and you go, I don't know, show me what it looks like. Well, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, we're seeing that difference, in reality.
Yeah, the lower millikelvin sensor definitely helps a ton. We're getting, we have a very strong partnership with Linred, the sensor manufacturer who we use in all of our systems now. So that partnership with Pulsar's R&D team and engineering team, and all of that, they've been able to tweak these units and get the most out of them that you possibly can. So that's kind of the way they've been able to progress this unit. Yes, better sensors help, but also the familiarity with these sensors and always trying to squeeze every little last drop of performance out of that.
Yeah. Well, I want to say a real quick thing. We're fixing to jump into the breaking news, the news stuff that's going on. But I know sometimes we may not have explained this well in the beginning. I know Jeff has referred a couple of times to Pulsar and Sellmark. Just for guys that are new to this, they're not exactly sure what that means. Sellmark is the sole North American distributor for Pulsar. They function as Pulsar USA. So sometimes people say, well, call Sellmark. Well, that means call Pulsar USA. And that's, they have multiple brands, Sightmark, Kofi Yeager, other brands. So anyway, I just know there's some people that are like, okay, who's Sellmark? I just want to make sure every time we do this, that people that, are newer to the industry aren't sure, but basically it's Pulsar USA. That's who they're functioning as.
Yeah, this partnership dates back, almost 20 years now. I've been with Sellmark for 16 years now, almost. And this relationship predates me. So we have a very strong working relationship with them in terms of what our market needs, what they're seeing over there, and we make some very all the decisions we make are very joint business decisions that hopefully are beneficial to everybody in the supply chain.
Good. All right, guys, you've waited this long. I know it's what you want to hear. You don't care about last year. You were there for that. You want to know what is going on for 2023 for Pulsar here in the U.S. So Jeff, go ahead. I mean, I know you got a list of stuff. I'm excited about this stuff. Let's hear it. What you got first on your list?
Well, so we've got basically 5 things that we're going to talk about today. So first thing that affects not only existing Pulsar users, but some future ones as well. There's now going to be a Stream Vision ballistics app that's going to be available for all Thermion 2 LRF XP50 Pro units. And it will be coming on some newer versions that we just released, like the XQ50 LRF and some other units that we're releasing at SHOT Show as well.
And so tell us what this is. We had a little bit of behind the scenes on this, and I've stayed a little confused. And even today we were talking, I was like, hold on. So give us. I mean, you don't have to go down deep, but tell us in a nutshell, what is this going to do for a guy that has one of your LRF models, laser rangefinder, for people that don't know, laser rangefinder scopes that is compatible with this? What is this going to do for them in a nutshell?
So basically what you're going to have is a separate app called the Stream Vision Ballistic app. and you're going to go in that app, set up a profile. If you're running 300 blackout, 6.8 Grendel, 6.8 SBC, 6.5 Grendel, whatever caliber you're running for what you're hunting with, you'll go in there, you'll put in your ballistic data, and then we've got a back end system that essentially understands what that ballistics data is doing. Type in your temperature, everything from A to Z that you can imagine on your, just like your normal long range shooters use for all their ballistic data. And then you can input that into your app. It connects to your scope. And then once you laser range find a unit, there's a setting on your scope where you laser range find it, and then an inverted X will come up for your holdover point. It does not move the reticle. The reticle is not moving up and down, anything like that. So if you have a 100-yard, if you're 100-yard zero on that and you're taking a shot, say you're shunning with something kind of crazy like 300 blackout subsonic, you want to do something a little different that has a lot of fault, like a lot of drop in it. So you're able to plug in those ballistics, and once you hit range on there, there'll be an inverted X that shows up on your vertical crosshair of where you need to hold over for that. So it's pretty cool. Now that if I know the guys up north, some of your coyote hunters that are making in the northern part of the United States that are making longer shots, 250, 300, 350, 400 yards at night is a very, aggressive shot. A lot of people think that, I can hit a target of 500 during the day with my day scope, and then they think they can do that exactly with their night scope. I'm here to tell you it's a different ball game, and this allows you to make more precision shots at longer distances if your skill level can relate to that.
So is this going to help guys like me hit more at 50 and 100?
No, absolutely.
No, there's no hope for you.
You're not going to be able to. Your 6.5 Grendel, which is what you were shooting last time we were hunting together.
That's it.
Your 6.5 Grendel at 50 yards to 100 yards. Pretty sure it's not really having a whole lot of.
That's it. When you go hunting with Jason, it's like he's like, let's scoot up. And I'm like, Jason, I can smell the pigs from here. How much closer do we got to get?
I want to be up close.
So everybody's clear. I mean, this is something you're not having to buy an extra accessory. It's not anything that you're having to buy to add on. This is just an app that goes with the LRF Pro models that already exist, that people already own, and a tool that can be used on something, being able to, like you said, you're not moving your reticle, you're just giving that person a spot, a secondary, secondary reticle
you're giving them, essentially you're giving them a holdover point on what to do on that. And if you have wind, if you have a Kestrel and the exact wind and the direction, you can type that into the app and it'll create a holdover for you on the, not only the elevation, but also the windage. Awesome. So there's other things that it can do. This is, the first stage of this. I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot of application for this that we haven't thought about yet for what this looks like, but it's pretty exciting. We've tested this at the ranch with some of the Pulsar people back in, I think it was October, and we had a 300 blackout, and we had it 0 to 100, and we had taken that out, I believe something in like I know in that 500 yard range, we were, pinging still pretty good. Wow. And then we stepped back a little farther and we're having a little bit of issues, but that was mainly due to like wind and other environmental factors. But this thing was getting it done at multiple distances from what we've been able to, the limits that we've pushed it through has been really surprising to me that you could take a shooter that, has never shot thermal past 100 yards, 150 yards, and then watch them hit a life-size hog target at 400, 500 yards. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Jeff, I've got one more question on this, and I just want to clear this up. And if you don't know, I'm putting you on the spot here, but do you know for sure exactly which models or past models that this is going to, because I was a little confused, and I know that's going to be the one question everybody wants to know.
So right now it's starting off with the Thermion Sioux LRF XP50 Pro. When we release this here in the coming weeks, that will be the first model that it will be available with. Shortly after that, it will be the XQ50 Thermion 2 LRF XQ50 Pro. There is an XG LRF coming out of the Thermion series that we'll talk about in a little bit. Those are the 3 versions that it's going to be with out of the box. And then we're working on backdating that with the Trail 2 LRFs as well. So no for sure date on if that's going to happen and when and where, but that is something that we're working on previous models that have been out there
So it's a possibility.
to work with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now,
Okay.
LRF XB50 Pro, near future LRF XQ50 Pro, and LRF XG50 Pro or XG50.
Well,
Awesome.
Well, let's do this. So you've kind of leapfrogged here, but we're gonna move your list around.
Nice segues.
But you've said it twice, so yeah, segue in. What is this XG that you speak of? And I want to be clear, there are some people know about this thing. I mean, it was announced, I believe it may be EWA or something in Europe last year, just softly. We didn't hear a lot about it, but Hans and I had a chance to see this. I think a prototype. We know it exists. It's coming. Tell us all about it.
The worst kept secret ever.
Yeah, exactly. We did have plans of getting this out sooner than what we're releasing now, but life happens and things happen. So we do have 2 new XG units coming out in the rifle scope line. One thing I want to say, XG has typically been in the United States been known for the BAE 640 12 micron sensor. So that is the Thermion XG that's been out for 2.5, 3 years now. This is now a Linred 640 12 micron sensor that are going into these units. So completely different sensor that's going into these. So we have 2 different versions coming out. First one's the Talion XG35. Whoop. I wasn't moving enough, so my energy saver lights popped on. So, like I was saying, the Talion XG35, it's going to be coming out with a 640 by 480 12 micron sensor in the exact same body as the Talion XQ35 right now. We're going to have that retail tentatively right now. We've got that retailing at $4,299, so $4,300 will be the MAP street price for that guy. That retailers will be able to or end users will be able to pick that up from retailers. And yeah, just really excited about having another, I don't like the word entry level price point because it's not an entry level scope. It's nothing to do with that. Right. There's more of a value price point than the XP system Thermion XP 50s that we've had in the past. So, those have always started at $5,000. Yeah. Now we have a unit that's $700 less. It's a little bit smaller. It doesn't quite have the image clarity that the XP has, but you've got a little bit higher base mag and with that 12 micron sensor and a 640 unit. So,
yep.
So I want to just be clear. It is $4,299, $4,300, correct?
Yes.
Because in some earlier talks, you said 45, and I just wanted to be 100% sure. Yeah. Okay. 43.
There'll be a $700 retail difference between the Thermion XP 50 Pro and the Talion X. Saying all these XQs and XG, everything's got me already mixed up a little bit. Yeah.
And one thing I want to just touch on briefly. I mean, again, this is going to be something when Hans and I will be reviewing these on the podcast, I'm sure very soon. But, you mentioned this Talion, XG at this $4,300 price range. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. You kind of did right there. You said it's not going to be the exact identical image quality to our Thermion XP. You're leaving some room there in price. There's going to be, it's going to be, like you said, a little more of a better value for the guy who just can't quite get over that hump. Maybe he doesn't quite want to spend that. But, he gives up a little bit of image quality, but then he gets a better price. So I know that's always the question is like, is it the exact same unit and the cheaper? It's going to be a little different.
Yeah. So the lens system on the Thermion models is a little bit different, which is going to respond to a little bit, it's going to have a little bit more sensitivity in there. The Thermion series, you're going to have your 2 battery options, your internal battery and your external, where the Talions, you only have your external battery. So there are a few little small things on there. It's just a matter of, depending on your hunting conditions and your budget and what you're doing, things kind of change. So
Yeah,
sure.
if you
Yep.
hunt, if you're hunting pigs inside 100 yards, but you just want a 640 system, then that's just probably your
Sure.
probably your unit. But if you are doing, if you really want the best image quality and it's in your budget, go with the
Yeah.
Thermion too. So.
Mhm.
So let's roll on now. Tell me about this. This is where we were headed. You got another XG unit here. It was going to be the same sensor, I'm assuming.
Yep. Same sensor, and so this is brand new. That it is, the Talion XG35 was lightly leaked last year at EWA, but this is a new unit that we'll be releasing at SHOT Show. So the Thermion 2 LRF XG50. So the same sensor that's in the Talion will be now in the Thermion 2 with a 50 millimeter objective lens, and we'll round out the LRF series in the Thermion line very nicely. So what essentially this is, so you got the XQ50 LRF, you'll have the XP50 LRF, and you have the XG50 LRF. So, everyone's like, well, you already had the XP, why do you have the XG? Well, I can tell you, the big thing that we wanted to have was a higher base mag. So you're going to go from a 2x to a 3x base magnification, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. It's a big difference in the thermal world. So that's the thing that we had a lot of coyote hunters up north in the northern part of the United States that are really passionate about this. They were requesting this pretty hard, and we decided to go ahead and give this a go.
And you probably said it there, but it's basically going to be the same $6,000 price point as the XP Pro LRF, correct?
So, yeah, good. Thanks for bringing that up. So everyone was wondering kind of how we were going to price this and what we're going to do, and what's the difference between the quality between the XP50 and the XG50 and the Thermion series. So we are going to have that price at the exact same price that the current LRF XP50 Pro is at right now, which is $6,000. There's two trade-offs here. So one route is you're going to have a slightly larger magnification due to that 12 micron sensor. So you have a base mag of 3x versus the base mag of 2x. But the XP50 sensor is slightly more sensitive. So your image quality in your bad conditions, in your rain and, overcast, drizzle, all of that good stuff, it's going to be, your XP is going to shine in those conditions where your XG is going to struggle a little bit more, mainly due to the sensitivity, the millikelvin rating behind both of those sensors. So it's the trade-off is, do you want more mag with a little bit less sensitivity, or do you want less mag with more sensitivity? And it really comes down to, we wanted the user to say, they're the same price. What fits you better? We didn't want to price these separately and try to influence someone based on money.
Yeah.
We really wanted to say, what hunting situation are you in that this fits you better in? And if you're in the southern part of the United States and you're hunting hogs, and you're in Louisiana or Mississippi where it's muggy and hot and all that, you probably need to go with the XP system. But if you're in North Dakota and you're hunting coyotes during predator season, and you need to be out, reach out and touch somebody a little bit longer, and you've got the you typically don't have those, you have a little bit more dry conditions out there in the western part of the United States, and you will probably give up a little bit of that sensitivity to have that extra base mag.
Okay, so you've got a couple.
You guys tested this with us in October. If you put the like we did it on your average October Texas night, I think it was probably 55, 60 degrees outside at night whenever we tested this thing. And I was hard pressed at the time to tell a difference between the two based on the climate that we were in and the settings and everything that we had. But it does, I have tested both of them on rainy, misty condition days. And there is a big difference when you get into the more, less favorable hunting conditions.
Sure.
The XP does shine better.
Yeah. So Jeff, you've got a couple more units here we're going to talk about. And again, this is one of those, there's something old and something new. And I say old, it's still new. We haven't seen it yet. Well, we have seen it, but the market hasn't seen it yet. It is an optic called the Duo, and I'll let you explain a little more about it. Hans and I got a chance again in October to play with that thing in both daytime and night conditions. And I tell everybody I'm not willing to give my full review of it yet. We're really anxious to get out and you know, long term spend some nights in the field. But it was really, really cool unit. Again, and guys, if y'all are on social media and you're following the Pulsar USA account, they have been promoting this. I want them to stop because everybody calls and goes, when can I get this thing?
Right.
And I'm like, it's not here yet. But no,
Right.
the Duo, tell them what it is. This is, before you say this, Jim, I'm going to go real quick. I'm going to go on the record and say, this is the way of the future. I am going to bet money that this will not be the only two optics that we ever see from Pulsar like this, nor other manufacturers. I think y'all are going to be the first to pull this off here in the U.S., and I think this is going to grow in the industry. So go ahead, tell them about it.
Yeah, so Duo is short for essentially what we're called the dual channel, multispectral dual channel system. It's not a fusion system. You have to pick whichever channel you want, whether that's 4K color digital or thermal. So this system, the first one that we released about a month and a half ago, was the Thermion Duo DXP50, which is, you know, it's the XP50 essentially, but with, instead of it having like a laser rangefinder on the top like the LRFs, there's a digital camera essentially that's on the top where you can use this in full color daytime mode, or you can switch it over to thermal mode, whatever you're doing. So if you're sitting in a stand or hunting during the daytime, you can use the daytime application. And then if you are staying in that same stand overnight, you can flip it over there. You can also invert these where you can have the digital in the main screen, and then on the PIP have the thermal. You can flip that polarity where it's thermal and digital. There's a lot of cool things. So you're able to, you know, you don't understand how much, you know, game animals you miss while just looking through your daytime binoculars. Now, I do a lot of hunting out in West Texas, big wide open country. Thermal changed the game for me out there from a handheld perspective. I'm able to see deer and different things moving in brush lines 300, 400, 500 yards away, and then find them with my traditional daytime optics. So there's a lot of features that this packs in, you know, of having a very quality digital scope and a tried and true thermal in the XP series, all merged into one unit. So that one released a while back, and that was a 2x base mag on the XP50 and a 2x base mag on the digital part. So when you flip back and forth, you have the same field of view. Now we are coming out and releasing at SHOT Show the DXP55, which has the thermal channel is the exact same. What's changing is the digital channel is going to go from a 2x base to a 4x base mag. So what this has allowed us to do is typically during the day, you're more comfortable in terms of positive identification of what that animal is, and your comfort level during the day of making a little bit longer shots is better. So having that base mag at 4x allows you to make shots at longer distances a little bit more comfortably, because just like thermal optics, digital optics, whatever it is, when you increase the magnification, you are degrading that image because you're zooming in on a screen. So this allows you to get a slightly larger base mag on this unit right here. So we'll have both a 2x on both channels, and then we'll have a 4x on the digital and a 2x on the thermal channel.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely the way of the future. Like Jason said, so many people wonder and talk about using thermal during the day. And when we've had to answer that question in the past, we always say, yeah, you can use thermal during the day, but it's not going to look as great as it does at night. This is what the future hopefully entails, and the future of thermal optics, the ability to have one scope and go out and day and night hunt. There's a lot of predator hunting contests, wild hog hunting contests, 24 hours, day and night thing. We have had a chance to briefly look through this. This was the optic that I'm most excited about. And I know that there are a lot of people, again, that know about it, that have called and said, "Hey, is it here yet? When is it coming? When is it coming?" I mean, they're waiting on this optic to get here because of what it's going to do for them, for their ability to hunt day and night.
Yeah, we're really anticipating this being, you know, a little bit of a disruptor in the industry for what this technology can do. As we get older, you know, I think the traditional hunting is still a very, you know, core part of people's values and upbringing and whatnot. But you have a new generation coming into this, you know, old tradition. Kids that are used to, you know, playing video games at a younger age, screen time, which wasn't a thing whenever, you know, whenever I was a kid. You know, all of these things are, you know, forcing the industry to kind of, you know, adapt and change slightly. So the digitization of optics has taken, you know, has started the, you know, and it's only going to get better and better as cameras and sensors and other things like that start getting better and better. You're going to see those improvements on what you're going to be able to do. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if in, I don't know, 5, 7 years, 10 years, you've got guys competing in, you know, 3-gun and PRS matches and that kind of stuff using digital optics that are helping enhance what they're doing. Allows you to record what you're doing. So like, you know, big thing is sharing with your friends what you've been, you know, the successes or failures of your hunt. And so you're able to, you know, hit one button and, you know, record what happens. You know, I was able to, I've got a 9-year-old son who absolutely loves digital optics, and his first hunt, we were able to record his, you know, first ever doe and buck kill whenever he was 7 years old. So it's kind of one of those things that I'll have that, you know, I'll have that file forever, and can, you know, we can relive those memories together where, you know, previous generations, that wasn't an option other than if you had a really good camera that you were, you know, and were a, you know, proficient in filming your own hunts. So.
Right.
Let me tell you how those always went with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't any good. I don't care how prepared you are. I do this even with my cell phone when my kids are hunting, and even, you know, they use the Sellmark rate and they're recording, but I've always got my cell phone and I'm like, okay. And I'm looking, and I mean, I know they're fixing to pull, and it's still I cannot stand the recoil. I'm jumping. So, hey, Jeff, I don't know if you mentioned, and again, I always go back to this. I don't know if you did or not. What's the price on those 2 Duo models?
So 5,800 and then 6,000. So 5,800 for the DXP 50, so 57.99, and then 59.99 for the 55 version.
Nice. All right. So guys, you stayed this long. If you've already, you know, if you clicked off, you've missed it. All right. But we've got, Jeff's got one more thing here before he goes. And this is a big one. This is exciting. I got to be honest. We were kind of trying to lay these out in what order, and these are all exciting. I mean, the ballistic calculator together. I mean, I'm not a long range shooter, but I like the idea of the technology. I can see where this is going. I know a lot of our customers are going to be excited about it. I mean, that's big. You know, again, all this, we've got the Talion XG, again, coming in 640, more affordable. We're all about that. We started the show off with XQs. Not only are they better, the pricing is getting better. It's more affordable for people to get into better optics. So now we're talking about these duos where we're bringing night hunting into the daytime with one optic. So guys, there's a lot of technology in this little short conversation here that I don't know that people can even appreciate where the market is moving. And listen, I'm going to say this because I know there's guys, they're going to watch this and this is what they're going to think. And guys, I'm going to talk to you right now. I feel you. You're going, guys, this all sounds great. $4,500, $5,000, $6,000. That's all great, but I can't afford that. But here's the good thing. This stuff just keeps getting better and better, and this price comes down. Look at where we started with the XQs. We started out, these scopes are now sliding down to the XQ35 below $3,000. We've got the Talion, as you mentioned, $2,500, and we're getting battery packs and video recording, and there's so much. So I know sometimes it hurts when guys sit here on the sideline and go, I wish I had $5,000 or $6,000, but that has to happen to push down. It trickles down, and again, I know that between the three of us, I'm preaching to the choir, but I know there's a lot of guys watching this, and they're like, everybody forgets about us. No, guys, it just trickles down to you, and we've seen it over and over in this market.
I've always said, don't buy some people can afford the most expensive thing right out of the gate and getting into this type of hunting. There's plenty of options out there at, more affordable rates. Pulsar has digital optics, sub $1,500. You've got thermal starting at 2,500, all of that. I always say start on the lower side of the scale, see how much you use it, see how much you enjoy it, and then resell it on a secondary market. Everyone's basically got a Facebook account or whatever and can sell the stuff, really quick in these communities. And then on the second part is, upgrade to something that once you love and you're passionate and you're using this type of equipment, that's when you need to upgrade to see what you can do.
Right. That's good advice. Very good advice.
So Jeff, here we go. Big news. What are we talking about here? What have you got that is going to kind of shake a few things up?
So now we have a new lettering system for you to learn, which is you're very
great. Can't wait.
So it's going to be, we have a new unit coming out called the Merger, which you guys are aware of that, LRF XL50. So with this XL50, this is our first HD sensor unit in the Pulsar line of products. So it's going to be a 1024 by 768 resolution, 12 micron unit with a 2.5 base mag.
So I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. The Mergers, guys, if you don't know, those are a pair of binoculars. So it's not a scope, can't shoot, but it's binoculars. It's handheld unit. But so you're saying 1024
by 7
HD, high resolution. Yeah. And what'd you say the price was?
So we haven't set the full market price yet. We're still a couple weeks from shot, but now we're looking at tentatively we have this slated for $7,999. So $8,000 is going to be the retail on this. We're going to see how the market reacts to it and what this looks like. This is essentially the first of its kind in a 1,000 by something sensor, HD sensor for a handheld unit in the market. So we're really excited about this. There's a customer base out there that has this disposable income that wants the best to be able to spot with. You look, most night hunters will use their spotter way more than they're going to use their rifle scope. I don't know if throw a percentage out there, but I probably spend 90% of the time using a spotter, 10% of the time looking through a rifle scope.
That's right.
When you're driving around doing whatever else. So these guys that put the screen time in with these units are going to be, I think, very happy with this. With this unit, it's something that we're really excited about. I'm always excited when a new sensor for our line comes into the market, and seeing what the capabilities can do and how far we can push those limits in terms of image quality and usability and what conditions we can use this in, and all of that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this unit is capable of, over a long period of time.
Well, what I'm thinking the same thing that every guy listening to this is, and they go, shot 2024. Where are we going to see this 1024 unit? So where is this sensor going to be? And guys, if you're a regular listener to this show, and you have followed the Late Night Vision show through 2022 and a lot of the changes that have come to the market and a lot of the things we've been excited about, all I'm going to say, and I'm going to leave this right here and say, told you so. There's gonna be more of these high resolution units. This is coming. I mean, it's the technology is improving. And how long have we been? I mean, I've been in this for over 9 years, and 640 by 480, 640 maybe by 512. That's it. That is the highest we've ever got. And I believe we are on this edge. And it's fixing to fall over in the next, I don't know, I hate to say dates, but 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to see more and more of these what I'm calling ultra high resolution, or because we always call 640 high resolution. So
Mhm.
ultra high, super high resolution. And this is exciting to get this in a handheld
Right.
unit.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll talk a little bit about the unit first, and then I'll talk about what the future could possibly hold in other areas. So everyone's probably saying, well, how does this compare to the XP systems that you already have in the merger? Because it's, in my opinion, the merger is the best unit that Pulsar has produced ever in terms of fit, finish, quality, button placement, image quality. If you were to just say, like, that's what I tell everybody, they're like, oh, is the merger that great? I literally tell everybody it's the best piece of equipment on the thermal world that I've ever put my hands on. That just when you use it, you just say, man, this thing works, and it translates to every environment and everything that you're doing with it. So everyone likes to ask, so that's why we put it in this unit, is because it's the best, most complete body that we've put together. So the difference between this and the 640, what's the, like, everyone kind of knows the difference between the 384 system and a 640 system and what those advantages are, disadvantages are. It's been, everyone's talked about that. When you have both of these on their base mag, the 1024 and the 640 systems, I'll say that you definitely get a better image quality on the 1024 by 768. You can see more detail. You can see the little things a lot better, detailed with like vegetation and that sort of thing. So those are things that you're able to do that are a little bit better. Where this unit shines and blows your mind is when you start stepping up the basis and magnification.
Right.
When you go from 2.5 to 5, 5 to 7, and just to give it a little history, I very rarely, Helion XP50 is my go-to handheld when I'm in the field, or this merger system. The merger is brand new, so I haven't had just a ton of those just sitting around for me to take out. So you're typically at base mag, and then the most you're ever going to do is go up 1 to a 5x, and because your image starts to deteriorate because you're zooming in on that. So what you're able to do on this with this one, when you start increasing that base mag, the degradation of the image quality is less, and at 5x, you're almost at 5x magnification. You're basically looking at what a base mag in a 640 looks like.
Exactly.
And then when you step up from 5 to 7 or 5 to 8, 9, whatever increments you want to go in, you're almost at, I haven't done the math and on all these and all the statistical stuff, but at something like 6 or 7x, you're almost at like a 384 system. So it's silly what you're going to be able to do and see with zooming these things in at longer distances with these. Yes, at base mag, you're going to be able to see, a long ways away. But when you zoom, if you see a pig at, is that a lone boar, or is that a deer bedded down in a wheat field, or whatever else it is? So when you're at those longer distances, you're going to be able to zoom in and really understand what that animal is and ID that animal much faster than you having to, go on a stalk and waste your precious time on a busted stalk because you just made a stalk on something other than what you're going after.
Well, I will say, Jeff, every year it seems like when we have these conversations, Pulsar's pushing the edge of technology in this industry. And this year, again, did not disappoint. The ballistics app calculator, the Talion XG, the 640 Talion in the smaller frame, lower price point, the Duo, which is a first of its kind, which is revolutionary. The 1024 sensor in the merger, which is revolutionary. I mean, man, kudos every year. Pulsar brings it. I know it helps you. I always talk about being in sales. It's always good to have a good product and work with a good company. And you lucked out, my friend. You lucked out. It's been a lot of hard work.
There's been a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of racking our head moments on how do we get this better, and how do we deliver something to the United States market that is truly exceptional. And we feel like we've, this year with this, I've probably not been, I'm trying not to oversell it, but I don't think I've ever been as excited going into a SHOT Show as I am right here. The only SHOT Show that I would probably say would compare to this was when we released the Trail and the Helions a while back. That was a monumental SHOT Show in our opinion for the technology with the batteries. Sorry about this beeping. And all of that. So it's been one of those things where I've just been so incredibly, blown away by what's happening in this world, and in this thermal world between the Duo, first of its kind technology being available for the commercial market in a dual channel system. You've got the XL, the 1024 system right there. There's just so much. Really cool stuff that's happening, and can't be more excited for SHOT this year. And the little nugget is we're not done for the year yet. We've still got another really big trade show that IWA happens in Europe in March, and man, historically there's been new units there every year.
Guys, I think that was called a tease. I think that was a tease.
Yeah, and that's where all the people over here see, hey, there's something new coming out, and like, it was seen at IWA. So just got to wait a little bit. But Jeff, if people want to find out more about Pulsar products, where should they go to?
PulsarNV.com should have the full spread up there. Obviously, OutdoorLegacyGear.com. You guys will have that stuff up hopefully when the launch is ready to go, and be on the phone selling and getting them some equipment. But again, this is we're really excited about this year, and we're just getting started this year in terms of new stuff. So we still have
I'm going to ask you one question before you go. This is off the script, hard question. I'm going to put you on the spot, but I promise that it's going to clear some things up a little bit for people. As we know, the Pulsar Digex C50, your digital scope, super popular. There's been some issues, chip shortages, some different things over 2022. The thing has been gone for most of the year. Everybody is asking about the unit. They love it. There's all kinds of rumors swirling. It's discontinued. It's not coming back. And let's just set the record straight for 2023. Is the Digex C50 going to stay on? Is it coming back into production for the U.S.?
Yes. Short answer, yes.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to hear. That's it. Yeah. Y'all heard it right there.
Yeah. So we have, with what with the things that happened in overseas this year, there are we did have some supply interruptions specifically with this unit, and we just shift some production on this unit to some other places around Europe, and you will be seeing this unit early in 23 back to hopefully regular schedule programming.
Yeah. See, that's all I want to say. It's not discontinued. You heard it.
The joy of Zoom calls. But Jeff, you just every now and then you just need to do like this. And people are like, what's wrong? Has he got Tourette's or something? He's like, no, he's just keeping his lights on.
Between the team's messaging going off we're just in the middle of a software change to hopefully help us scale our business. And my chat feature has been going crazy. I can't figure out how to turn it off and do that. So
I know you have nothing going on. It's right in the middle of Dallas Safari Club convention. You got SHOT Show starting next, in a couple weeks. So
and then I got a feeling that we'll have another one of these shows, right after IWA, because there's going to be hopefully some fun stuff that happens there, and I can just keep this long-standing.
We want to, and guys, I know if y'all have watched the show, this is the first time that I think we've done this, probably where we were remote with Jeff. Where normally they're at the Sellmark headquarters. He was trying to get us down over to the ranch to come out there and record this. And I was like, there's no way. And I know how busy that y'all have been there at Sellmark. Like you said, the software change y'all are working through. We've been swamped with customers. It's the wrong time of year, but maybe by EWA things will calm down and we'll get to come out there and sit there and do that one in person.
We all know the real reason, Jason. It's okay. You're just
Yeah.
too stuck in East Texas.
Yeah,
I gotta pry you out of there to get to, you know,
doesn't want to leave his
anything
town.
to happen.
There's that too, but the ranch is not going to the big city, so I can handle.
It's just not going to the big city, and
Yeah,
you know, I agree with that. So
That's right.
yeah, I think the next one we do, and hopefully in March, and prep for some of the EWA stuff that we have, hopefully have coming out. I'm really looking forward to sitting down with you guys sometime, you know, mid to late March, and talking about, you know, we'll have had all these units and field tested them by then. What your thoughts are on some of these things, and then talk about, you know, hopefully some other new stuff that might be coming out, might not. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, we appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you so much again for being on the show. I know that you got to run because you got to coach like Little Dribblers Basketball Association, or you're a coach. Got to do what you got to do. I did it. I put my time in, and I got so the kids getting out of that kind of stuff eventually over time was, and me not having a coach was like graduation. It was like,
hey, I got the little Kinder Bees and the Killer Bees. The two teams, Kinder in second.
There you go.
Kinder, the Kinder is undefeated because they don't keep score, and you know, but
undefeated.
The big team is my third grader. We're off to a roaring 0-2 start. So we need the practice time tonight.
It can only go up from here.
They might be running a lot right after Christmas to kind of get back into that basketball. I see a lot of lines and, you know, line drills and some masters coming and all that good stuff today at practice.
Yeah, throwing basketballs at them, you know, blowing the whistle in the air. Yeah, I got it.
Definitely have a whistle, 100%.
Yeah, I got to see a picture of you holding a whistle around your neck doing this. Y'all, we've got a lot of Pulsar stuff coming out, and when you see all this breaking news, that means job security for Jason and I on the show, the Late Night Vision Show. You come to us because you want to know all the breaking news, and you want to see all these optics in use. And so we're going to be reviewing all of this once it's released right here on the Late Night Vision Show. Again, Jason, owner of Outdoor Legacy, myself, and thank you, Jeff. We will be back very soon. We've got more information, more episodes from the Late Night Vision Show on the SHOT Show specifically. So stay tuned right here. We will see y'all again soon. Stay safe in the fields. Keep making them bacon pancakes.